the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter in everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
Happy to be here.
Today we're getting to chapter 99, The Strongest. But first, let's, I guess, put to rest the name Hishaku now that we got an official name reveal, Yuki Sada. You know, we know he's not dead, so welcome back. The young goat, the first or the youngest son of the Hishaku, the favorite son.
No. I wasn't big on the guy, but definitely showed out. Man.
I know you have been sarcastically just hitting him with little strays here and there throughout the episodes, and you reasonably so, because up to this point, I understand that. But I'm so glad he I had very little stocks in him, but I had some stocks, so I'm glad to see him do his thing.
He's tough, man.
Yeah, but we could talk about the beginning of the chapter. Sarcastic. What's funny is I love Azami. I just like Yura that much more.
Wait 1 second. So we see Azami's fists up, but I think this is a double, double play, let's say, or whatever, on both Yuki Sada and Azami, if anything. You don't think so?
Yeah, I think it's definitely it lends to them both, because we know Azami was touted as the strongest fighter in the Kabunabi. They were that's what they've been doing, propping him up. And also we get the Yura saying or telling Yuki Sada to his face that he's the strongest in the Hishaku. Yeah. So I do think it's a double play on them, but seeing Azami's fist and knowing what we know happens later in the chapter with one of his hands, I think it's funny. He put this title in quotations, whereas he didn't put the prior ones in quotations.
Yeah, no, that is a good point, and it makes sense for both of them, for both Yuki Sada and Azami. So I do like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Hokuzono is he is very neat about his presentation.
Don't play with that.
Yeah, and then we could going for where we left off last chapter. Yuki Sada's starting to regenerate, or Ikuto comes up through the floor, so I guess he was just dragged up by his iron sand, basically. And even still, with the wounds that Yuki Sada has, he managed to press Ikuto, and it was at least fast enough to the point where Ikuto's mask homie even says so fast with a wound like that, he's calling him tenacious, so he definitely is a threat.
That whole sequence before he regenerates was just crazy, man. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's a lot happening, honestly, in a short period of time, because with regeneration in manga, it's when you're keeping track of that during the fight, when you see someone that we didn't know he had this regeneration. So all this is happening really quickly to us, and we're kind of we're obviously by this point we figure out that he has regeneration, obviously, because how else would he be able to move like that? But it's the fact that he's still pressing through it. You know what I mean? He's taking slashes at Ikuto, and then we finally get to see him back off, and that's when we finally see the actual regrowth of his left arm, which would look cool as hell.
Yeah, dude, I was actually taken aback by his speed, because we know how Ikuto was moving last chapter, and for a minute I really thought that Ikuto was about to go outside, Yuki Sada was about to get him with the blade, just for a second, because of how they were moving and how Yuki Sada reacted, and his speed seemed to be on another level. But yeah, then him kind of taking a step back and regenerating like that, bro, I had to respect.
Yeah, it looked gas, and I mean, Ikuto's even glazing him, talking about the psychological strength to endure that pain. He's still mentally going through that pain, but he's knows he will regrow. It definitely takes a certain kind of mental acuity to be able to do go through that. So it's not just his ability as a fighter that would make him or the strongest, or his sorcery, even though his sorcery is OP. It's his like mental state to actually be able to like fully maximize that, because not everybody's cut out to like want to get their arms cut off. You know what I mean?
I can't believe I'm saying this, dude, but it's very reminiscent of Yura. I've made comparisons between Yura and how they are pretty similar in terms of like certain aspects when it comes to taking risks. And here I'm seeing like when it comes to the mentality and mental fortitude aspect of Yura in this kid. Because like you said, who's the only guy we've also seen being willing to sacrifice an arm like it's nothing? It was Yura at the Rakuzaichi against Chihiro. And obviously it's a different circumstance, a situation, right? But I'm just seeing these similarities. Yeah, I'm seeing these similarities. And again, I'm not a fan of this kid, really. I mean, I have to be now. Like, I just have to straight up. Yeah, but like even in that panel where he regenerates his forearm, I don't know if you noticed, but like look at his torso, bro. Like he's, what Ikuto did to him is crazy. Just seeing the injuries, like seeing a whole like 4 holes, it looks like just insane, like right through him. And so yeah, it is a bit reminiscent of, he really is, because he looks like him too, like a little Yura. So and again, I'm not too keen on saying that, but I can't help it.
Hey, at least you can, even though you don't like him, you can still give him his props. That's one thing. Not everyone can do that, and that's why agendas suck. But I can respect that. But I mean, even though like you're right about like his regeneration, calling it back to like you're taking a risk of losing his arm, you were cooking for sure. But this like ability makes him the perfect barrier vessel, like 100%. He can just regrow the organs he lost. He still went through all that trouble and all that pain and that, to endure that. And the thing is, when you do that for the Kaminabi, you're doing a 10-year contract and you're getting paid out the rest of your life to live easy. With this kid, he went through that. Sure, he regrew his organs back, but he's not, his life isn't that easy after. You know what I mean? Like, that's if he even lives that long. This kid's like literally just feels like he's throwing his life on the line for Yura, because he respects Yura that much. And you paralleled them with him with Hirohiko and both of them to Yura. I've been really big on them, the Hishaku, being kind of like having a family dynamic in a sense, where Hirohiko is the oldest son, and now we know Yukisada, 17 years old, is the youngest son, the favorite son, and Hirohiko's like getting treated like a stepson.
No, I can't lie. I was thinking of Hirohiko when I was watching this kid go off. Like, dude, you gotta come back and do something back. Yeah, no, but credit to Yukisada here, man. Because even Ikuto, man, again, the difference between his energy last chapter and this one, just because Yukisada, locks in, it's crazy, bro.
And bro, I got a whole lot more respect for Ikuto this chapter, because he might have been like kind of on a crash out fest last chapter and just seeing how he reacted to everything, but his mental acuity is still there to like put his maybe you call them future assets for the Kabunabi, even though the Kabunabi probably won't be a thing after this arc, but he still prioritized saving the kids. We'll get to that later, but I just wanted to say, make sure I didn't forget to like give Ikuto his props.
No, yeah, I hear you.
But
for sure.
Let's see, where we getting to next? Oh, I mean, we do see Ikuto kind of like just, him not being able to eat and going like crazy as he did to find, because he scanned the entire building. That is a drastic feat, in sorcery. So, we kind of see him like fall on his face, reminiscent of Yuta a little bit. Ikuto has his own little Rika. The mask.
Crazy, right?
But I'll let you touch on the low IQ king, Hakuri.
Yeah, dude. Well, first of all, I gotta say that the swiping of these pages, going from the page of like Ikuto calling for Yukisada's decapitation, and then just boom, we got Hakuri and Kiri jumping in, and they jumping into action. I do like how Hokuzono makes sure to portray like Kiri's style. Like, she doesn't look like other like sword users. Like you can very clearly see her style, even though it's no longer an emphasis since it was like explained, you can still see it in like how she's illustrated in these panels, you know. And I thought that was very cool. The entrance itself is clean as hell, man. Hakuri, I don't know how he's doing it. Seriously, like I'm not even joking. You know, we were told that he was told not to really force his sorcery, and he uses it quite a bit in this chapter alone. But it was cool, man. It was cool to see them get the jump on Yukisada. I'll let you get into what happens next.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Hakuri's overusing his sorcery in a short time. I mean, let's just call it down the line. You know, registering Kiri, and transporting her in the storehouse, and then bringing her back out to sneak Yukisada. Then he also teleports a sword back out, and then uses ISO. That is because the storehouse itself just seems like it's a very grandiose sorcery. So that is a good mention by you of just like, how's his brain looking? Probably brain looks like mashed potatoes. His brain brain feel funny. But I want to mention Kiri's, like, I think what I like about Kiri on page is her movement. It flows. Like when you look at her from like where she first gets there, and then you see her in the next panel, you can sense the flow of motion of the sword swinging around, and then her catching it and then swinging it back. Like, it's very smooth. And going back to Yukisada, like, and the fact that he's even able to like auto regen after getting slashed through the torso to like steal the sword away from the person that's swinging it. In this case, it's Kiri. That is a crazy that's a crazy way to defend, to like be able to take that pain, but then have the wherewithal to basically, react to it instantly. I know I'm glazing the piss out of Yukisada, but that's crazy. We see him like use his body as a shield, as a mechanism to like disarm his opponents.
Yeah, no, that was too tough. How he uses his healing to stop the blade and then kick Kiri back. Woo. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, for a kid, like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid is like, really, what has he gone through to get to like this like place to be okay with all this and be useful to Yura, which that brings into question, how the hell did Yura bring the Hishaku together? What kind of like dream did he sell them to get these like all these strong beings in one place? Because now the Hishaku have started to kind of, before they weren't as impressive because of like, Hirohiko getting dealt with and things like that. And, Pishaku was like a whole meme. So we were like, oh, he's the strongest. But he has really like brought their Hishaku PR back into the green. You know what I mean? Like the Hishaku are super impressive.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Your goat.
Oh my God. And dude, yeah, what I was gonna say that like really stood out to me is because Kiri, she's no like average swordsman, right? Like we make fun of the Kamunabi a lot, but she's still a Kamunabi commander. And so we also like her here, like we're a fan, and seeing her getting handled by Yukisada like that, we've only really seen that from Hokuto, and it was one thing, and like seeing it from this kid is like just left kind of like a bad taste in my mouth again. But
yeah, you're not a big fan of Yukisada, so all his like glazing, it's like seething. You're seething to like give him his credit. It's like, fuck, he did something cool again. Damn you, Yukisada.
Kinda. But like I said, like he's tough, man. Almost as tough as Hakuri.
That little motherfucker got aura. I can't lie. Hakuri, he's low IQ, but that low IQ bastard got aura.
Yeah, Hakuri moves like you brought up everything he did, right? Like seeing him what he does with the sword to me was just so fucking cool. It's probably like obviously he's done some tough shit, all the whole story so far, but just seeing like the unique implementation of the ISO, and it's actually one of the swords he had taken away from the guards earlier, and now seeing him bringing it back from the storehouse and then complementing the storehouse with ISO, I think it's the first time we see that. Like, you know, maybe I could be missing some moments from the Rakuzaichi, but just seeing his Iso compliment, like, again, just pulling it out of the storehouse, just that whole thing was cool. And like him taking on a kid as well, you know, with the help of Kiri, just that whole thing was really tough.
It's like the younger generation going at head to head.
Yeah, because Hakuri, it's the first time like he goes at somebody like that, right?
True. Yeah. It's like, you know, he's making like a strategic attack on somebody, and it's not like him just kind of playing support on the sideline. He's actually getting like ingratiated in a fight. And
yeah,
it is like the first time I'm like 90% sure, well 98% sure that this is the first time we see him use the storehouse Iso combo.
exactly.
And you know, like Tenri, you know, we know that Tenri doesn't have the storehouse ability, so he has to wait for Kiora to like send the blades to him for him to Iso them. Akari can do it all like in one motion, but that also is like this would have been great to have before the brain bleeding. You know what I mean? You know, that's kind of a mechanic that Hokuzono set up to make a OP character not as overpowered, because you know he could do some crazy shit with his abilities. And I want to give myself flowers because I knew he was going to bring that sword back in this arc. It's pretty obvious, but
yeah, no, but I remember you making a big point about like, yo, just watch, those swords are going to be relevant later on. And I was like, okay, like could be not. I don't really, but like seeing it here and again against Yuki Sada, it definitely was a big thing.
That's impressive. But when you have this opponent that literally catches his head, then he says, if Yura says something's white, even if it's black, it's white. Ikuto's like, what? And he says, I'm the strongest Hishaku. Yura said it, so it has to be true. Fucking gas, bro. He's holding his own head and he's just talking his shit.
Again, man, it's so hard for me like not to give him his props this chapter. Like you're so on the money. Like I was like seething, but I can't hate. You know, like as much as I, you know, I'm not too big on him because I have like other biases for other Hishaku members. You know, I can't still look at this and be like, how is this like, how can I not recognize that this is cold as hell? You know, and we glaze Yura here, but that is some next level glazing. And I love to see, right? Because yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's the favorite son for sure, that, you know, Hishaku, I swear, like Hirohiko is like the stepchild, you know, and the parents like, I wouldn't hit my own child that hard. I'll hit a stepchild that hard though. It's like that kind of vibe. That's how Hokuzono's treating him, and like Yura's the dad actually. But even with like you know, him holding his head, he's saying all that shit. Ikuto's like crashing out, you know, like, oh, even decapitated. He's wondering if he's invincible. But that kind of like tension or that kind of adversity pales in comparison to like the walking death that is Yura in the Magatsumi. Like leaving death in his wake, like like, bro, he like knows we gotta fucking get out of here. And he protects Hakuri and Kiri with his iron sand wall. Insane, dude. Yura, like, just the effect Yura has on panel and his presence in the story, it's so it's my favorite thing. Honestly, it's my favorite part of the story at this section.
Yeah, and I do want to say, like, every couple of episodes here or so, you bring up the fact of like how, like, we both talked about like the Hishaku being this really good villain group despite, you know, some losses and how they move and whatnot. But like, put yourself in Ikuto's, I was about to say Ikuto's shoes for a minute, but
put yourself in Ikuto's sleeves.
Pretend you're Ikuto for a minute, and like what you just witnessed from Yuki Sada, like, dude is literally holding on to his own head and literally talking shit, and then boom, you get hit with like the feeling of the Magatsumi, and like fucking Yura walks in. Like, dude, again, it's like the Hishaku's PR, like how they're moving, the way they project themselves, everything about them.
They're winning.
Yeah, everything about them at this point is just like, whew, really, really, like, gotta respect it, man.
Ichiki said they can't possibly overtake us without an enchanted blade. Yura himself said we need at least one enchanted blade to like go into Kabanabi. So it's just insane. Like, I mean, he is using an enchanted blade's power, but it's the fact that the leader put himself in that position to take that risk, as you mentioned earlier about Yura taking risk. Calm your ass down. That's going crazy. I'm sorry. But like for the leader to put himself in that position, I think it's just very, very smart on Hokuzono's like vision to like have this villain that is very strategic, well thought out, sharp, very aware and very transparent about his like position as a fighter. Like we see him go through several like inner monologues throughout the story. And I mean, he's still a huge mystery. These are phantoms. We don't know anything about these guys really. But we're still appreciating them for everything that they're doing without knowing their backstory, how they came together. And I just think that Hishaku is like, I put it like this: we were smart naming ourselves the Hishaku Hideout. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because that is like the that's the favorite. Like, it seems like Hokuzono just loves glazing them, and I mean, we know that they're going to lose in the end. We know that, of course. But the journey to get there is like the Hishaku are paving the way for like this very engaging narrative. I mean, Yura's killing guys just walking near them.
Yeah, and that's not even bringing up what he's holding on to, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's give him a hand. No need. He already got one.
It was the guy who was fighting him that seems to have needed a couple of hands, because even that wasn't enough. I want to get your thoughts first. What are we thinking, man? So
Azami, this can go a lot of different ways. First, let's just mention, like, shout out to Ikuto again for like saving Hakuri and Kiri. That was big of him. Huge respect. The other three guys, they died. But now what you mentioned, like what he's holding, and that's Azami's hand. We could go a lot of different ways with this. Some people think that, Azami's dead. Some people think that Hakuri and them died. But I don't know. I don't know how. I personally think he just left the wall alone and left them three alive. Yeah. But I know I'm jumping all over the place. But for Azami, I think Azami's alive. Now how? I can only guess. All of us can only guess. It could be. I brought up talking to Dice earlier that what if Yura just like was in he had the position of power. They knew it. He knows it, and he just said, "Hey, I'm gonna flip a coin. If I win, I'll kill you all. If you win, I'll cut off your hand and I'll leave with it and let y'all live." Now, Azami wouldn't be cool with that, but Hokuzonos can go through different things, but I just don't see. I just hope he doesn't kill Azami off panel like that. Because then that would also mean what happened to Uruha and Natsuki. So it's like three people are like in this position of like mystery of like, are they dead or are they not? And if they are dead, that's three characters that died off panel. And that would mean Uruha came back just to die off panel. It's like there's a lot of like things in the air that are important for this story with those characters, resolutions we would like to see. So I just don't see them being dead.
Yeah, we have like a Schrodinger's Azami thing going on here.
Yeah.
I think there's one of two things that are most likely. What you bring up could be plausible, especially in a situation which you had brought up in that same conversation where Azami makes the right decision of retreating because Uruha and Natsuki are fatally wounded, and it's the only thing that could sway him from going at Yura after all that shit he talked about avenging Kunishige. Like, in that conversation we had, I was very emphatic about like Azami putting it all on the line there. Like that, after the way he was talking, that's not the type of fight you retreat from, right? Unless, again, it was a situation where he had to fall back because of his comrades, I think. I honestly, dude, I think Azami's dead. And I like Azami, and it's even kind of tough. Like, I'm trying to think of all the ways he could be alive, and it's very plausible. But I think it's more powerful for the story that he's dead. When we recently got his sorcery a couple of chapters back, I even made the point of like, okay, this is kind of like a red flag for me, because what else is there? Like, we got a bit of a backstory, we got his sorcery. He's clearly a character that's just no more than a side character. Like, he's no Shiba, even though Shiba hasn't been in the story. He's more integral as a character, for example, like Tsuchihiro, right? So overall, from every angle I look at it, I just think Azami's dead here. And like, to be fair, like, let's look at everything that has happened in this arc. We've talked about this arc being really straightforward and how we seeing things. You know, Kazan was the traitor, Yukisada was the vessel. Now we clearly see Azami's broken hand in Yura's, Yura holding on to it. I think he's dead, and again, it's not that I don't see him being alive. It could be. I could see that scenario. But if I had to make a bet, I feel pretty confident in saying I think he's dead, man. And again, I think the story is better because of it, if he's dead.
Now, as you were talking, I kind of like started to think, what if Azami just made the ultimate sacrifice, and Natsuki and Urha, begrudgingly got away.
I think they're alive.
That's why Azami died. Like that's I think the way Hokuzono would go if Azami does die. Give him an honorable, because like the things that I brought up, and like with if Azami died, technically like that doesn't have to mean that Urha and Natsuki did die as well. Because like I said, Azami can make the ultimate sacrifice. It's just, it's a lot. I guess it's a lot easier when we flash back. Because
I think that's going to happen as well. Going with the thought of him making the ultimate sacrifice, it'll kind of, it'll make us appreciate like his death more than maybe do now for the people that are like not down with it. Because all screen deaths is kind of a tough thing to like execute. But you also point out something really good about this arc, that Hokuzono's been very straightforward with his vision and his reveals. So, he could just be outright telling us, I've been giving y'all like hints at things, and then the things I'm hinting at, I choose like the most obvious answer, or the most logical answer, I should say, because I don't want to make that sound like a negative dig at Hokuzono. Because I have no problem with his vision so far, and I mean, other than that, you kind of talked me over to Azami being dead. You kind of more talked me over to that side. I mean, he could be alive again.
You might have just swayed me. I
don't want it to be like he's alive next chapter, and then you you feel dumb for having been swayed. But
nah, bro. I stand on 10 toes till I die for you, bro. I give you my seed. You think I won't stand for you? Oh, I do have a big like question to bring up though.
Okay, go ahead. Shoot.
So we see that the people in the monitoring room have flowers, presumably by Yura. He went to the monitoring room. If you notice on the monitor, the Sword Saint is still on the screen. But I mean, in the very next panel, it shows Yura, which that monitoring room is on the same floor as that the jail, as this like little prison area, I'm pretty sure. Or it's on the same level, but we see him go down like a flight of stairs, so it's not like a far walk is what I'm saying. But when he gets there, the Sword Saint isn't there. So is that monitor a lie? Like it's like a fake screen put up to trick the Kamonabi and he's been gone? Or not been gone, but maybe since he says the time is now, you know what I mean? Because we keep seeing him on like screen. But when he gets down there, he's gone already. He says he's down below. I just thought that was interesting how he's still on the monitor.
You're talking about a previous chapter where he's on the monitor, right? Because I can't see that
No, I'm
here.
talking about the second to last page. If you look at the monitoring room, the Sword Saint is sitting down in his prison, and all the columns are still intact.
Bro, I couldn't. My blind ass. I didn't see that in the background. I was looking at the smaller computer screens. I was like, "What are you?" But I see it in the background. Interesting, dude. I don't know. I would.
It's like the Sword Saint's all this mystery, and then like it's like, man, we just want to know.
I don't know, because I was gonna say it's just like it's kind of goes with all the timeline questions we've been having. Like even people have been making the jokes about like the Sword Saint being in the same position since he stood up for like the last whatever amount of chapters. And I thought what you were saying could be attributed more to like, you know, that kind of lack of clarity between you know, the very specifics of the timeline, because everything is kind of happening at once. But what you're seeing here is very, like what you're saying here is very plausible.
It's right after same sequence, you know. It's like we're not. It's like right after he should be. That's either telling me like one, he destroyed all those pillars himself.
As Yura was walking down, maybe he might have gotten away.
Like he has. No, he has to be literally like a minute away from. Like he has to be close to the Sword Saint.
Yeah.
And we see the Sword Saint actually in a walking away.
He's moving.
It makes me and he's looking to. I feel like he's like looking to his right. He's like kind of looking over. Like who's? I think somebody's walking with him.
What's this chick? Yatsuru, maybe?
Maybe Yatsuru, or maybe the other Kabanabi member that was in the monitoring room. The one that looks like the teacher from Danny Phantom.
What's also important to point out is that Sword Saint, I feel pretty confident saying that it's clear that he's using the Magatsumi's abilities too. Look at the pillars.
Oh, he would have to, yeah.
And his eyes. Look at the eyes. Look at it. Both of their eyes. They're both kind of sharing the Magatsumi's power, which is crazy because that means that we're witnessing Magatsumi at half of its power in what we're seeing with Yura, right? Which makes a lot of sense, but it's still kind of crazy because it's literally like death walking, you had said.
See, and I don't even know if it's necessarily like if they're like it's like 50-50, you know?
Okay, yeah, we talked about this.
Remember, the Sword Saint limited Kiora, and Kiora was holding the blade to just the tip.
Okay, yeah.
So we don't know like how that power like dynamic functions. True. And another thing is Sword Saint, he gotta weigh about 110 pounds right now. He's probably 90 pounds or some shit. Like the man is like literally almost a corpse. Like he's been on life support, the bare minimum to like live. So what, like I would like to know like just how that all is gonna play out, because they might like just me thinking logically here, right? We like the healing abilities is rare in this universe, right? You know, it's like Char healing, you know, Chihiro, excuse me, was huge. The Hishaku having like the best genus being able to stitch back limbs is huge. So this guy, where's he getting like these like essential nutrients from? Is he drawing more of the power off the Magatsumi to like give him like just I don't know, like he's living off of spirit energy? You know what I mean? I just want to see like what kind of state he's in when we first have a conversation with him. Yeah,
right now I would think that he's drawing his energy from the Magatsumi is the only thing that would make sense, how he's still kind of walking and moving and conscious, considering what we were told about the pillars being the thing that were kind of keeping him on, like you said, like life support, and he just breaks those things and, you know, it leaves. Like,
it could be Yura's fault.
What thing?
Like him tapping into the Magatsumi, he might be like living off of Yura's life or spirit energy or something.
Yeah, because Yura did pour his own spirit energy into the Magatsumi. That could have something to do with it. There's some questions there still, and I do wonder if they're going to get addressed or if it's just going to be like completely glossed over, because I could see a situation where it's not really that important and, you know, like at least the specifics, and it just kind of gets, you know,
muddled. Yeah. It'll only get Hokozuna in trouble if he does bring it up, you know.
It depends.
But if he just leaves it as is, it's just whatever. It's like one of those like minor things, you know. But that was just something I was thinking about.
Yeah, but I think it also depends on what exactly he's planning to do with the Sword Saint here. At least
Where's the Sword State going? We thought that was like the bottom level of Kabunabi. So they were lying to us this whole time because he says he's down below. Even he's below his like prison.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot. I know. I'm just throwing out a lot of what ifs and like questions that we like can't possibly know. But this is what was running through my mind when reading this.
I'm also trying to think of like if there's something that we're just forgetting or not missing, but I can't really think of anything. And the only thing I was gonna say really is that now at least the Sword Saint is on the move. Next chapter is the big 100, so I do think Chihiro and Samura are gonna finally pull up. Could they potentially? I don't think they're gonna run into the Sword Saint, but I'm interested in, like you asked, like where's he going? What's gonna be his role now? Because at least he's out of there, and we're both we both feel pretty confident. Like the Kamunabi, they're clearly done. Like they're donezo after this, right? So yeah, I think things are moving, right? Like things are moving, and I do think we're gonna get that Azami flashback, and I do think that Natsuki and Uruha are fine, and they probably witnessed his death. And I think you hit it on the nail where like it was probably something very, very, very honorable. He probably went out like a badass and all that shit. I think we're gonna get all of that. I don't think that's gonna be purely off screen.
Yeah, imagine like him just in his head, or he just says, "Sorry, Kunishige, I couldn't do it."
Oof.
Oh, bro, that would be so heavy. Like he's just like on his deathbed, he's apologizing to a dead man.
That's crazy.
Like just because he couldn't get it back in blood for him.
And yeah, and it only raises like Yura as a villain. Like not to make everyone.
You can't play it only limit sense, Yura.
Yeah. We said it wasn't enough.
I mean, Azami. Yeah, you can't play the game. Fuck. I messed that up. I put Yura's name. I still be fucking up Yura and Azami's name. I see them two together.
But I don't think. Is there anything really to get into? I think we were kind of all over the place this recording, but there was really a lot to talk about, and our boy Yura was moving like a demon, man. I think we were both very, very much enjoying what was going down here. Even with
jam-packed chapter.
Yeah, even with Yuki Sada, man. Like I won't say he made me a fan, but he is kind of like turning me over, and like I tip my hat off, So.
Hey, we'll take it. And one thing I do have a question for you, for the viewers, anybody, action mom, your dad, who cares?
Cook.
Where Hishaku going? We know where Yura's going, but what's their objective now? Where's Yuki Sada headed? Where's Urin and Bingo headed? Where's Hokuto? Like, there's so many pieces. Where's Best Genius? So many pieces that they're still not done doing damage. They're like waiting for Yura to kill the Sword Saint, and they're probably headed to like find Kazan, I'd imagine.
Oh well, he's dead. But, no. Find him. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's stuck to a wall.
Yeah, he bled out by now for sure.
No, he's a master sorcerer.
Oh yeah, top one, sure.
He's top one. He's built different.
In regards to like where they're going, at least like literally speaking, I do kind of question if we're gonna get like image of them completely setting up shop in Kamunabi headquarters. That's probably not gonna happen, but it would be badass to see. Seeing them like in the Kamunabi's table, just like, yeah, this is our shit now, right?
That would be a way to conclude the arc. The Hishaku are just like, Excuse me. It would be fire. Like you're cooking. It would be fire to see the Hishaku sitting at their little table. The trees all running through it and shit, but they're just kicked back, like roasting the Kabunabi and going over everything that they did. That would be a gas way to end the arc.
Yeah, I mean, or they're going back to their hideout.
Shit, what if they make this their new hideout?
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Besides that, man, those are good questions to raise. Even though I'm genuinely more interested in where the Sword Saint going, because I don't know if he have some sort of plan B he might have set up all those years ago. It's been a couple of years, man. So did he maybe not set something in motion, but did he know that maybe this moment could come and there's something he's expecting, or like you teased that maybe somebody's with him and somebody's helping him move, which is very likely because again, like alone, like him alone is almost like as good as Hakuri's alone. Hakuri might be more lethal than this guy. Well, no, wait, I take that back because he's using the Magatsuki. I'm sorry. Yeah, we got to wrap this one up, but I guess those are my questions, man. I'm excited, or at least curious to see what the people think as well.
Thanks. I guess like my final thoughts. One, Yura, when he looks like he's stabilized the Magasumi. He's having like normal conversations. Yuki Sato, well done with the blacked out eyes. Like he's praised. You know what I mean? It's just like he's owned it. He's like controlled it. It's insane. Yura is that guy, man. People need to start having conversations about him. Obviously we're spinning on it, but Yura's our GOAT. And that'll do it for me. Yeah, anything else you got, Dice?
No, I yapped enough on this one, man.
Me too, bro. Like this was a yapathon, and like I said, I was definitely all over the place, but I enjoyed this episode. I really love this chapter. I'm looking a really strong cliffhanger to lead us into chapter 100. And let me see. Do we have a chapter next week?
We should. What you mean?
I didn't check. Just making sure he's not going on break. I mean, he deserves another break, to be real.
Yeah, we're getting one.
Yeah, November 9th. Okay. Damn, my anniversary is November 8th.
Ah, shit.
But that'll do it for us. Big chapter 100 next week. And we'll see y'all there. Peace.